Alright, howdy. I've been working for the last couple days on this 1960 Gibson GA6 Lancer. The GA6 is kind of misleading because usually when you think of GA6 or something with a 6 in the name, you're thinking 6 watts, probably single-ended. And this one very clearly has two 6V6 GTs with a tube rectifier, and I'm guessing it's putting out around 12-15 watts. It has two 12AX7 preamp tubes, and all of them except for these two 6V6 GTs are Gibson branded RCAs, and they all date from the first quarter of 1960, so that's definitely when this amp was made. The speaker also had a 1960 code on it. The capacitors that I took out of here, when it was brought to me, the guy said all it would do is make a big humming sound when he turned it on, a big loud annoying humming sound, so I turned it off. I decided he'd let somebody else work on it that knew what they were doing, and yet somehow I got it. But this also has 1960 codes on it. You can see these are just all melted to pieces. So I found some that were not Astrons, they were Spragues, and so they look a little different. Also have the negative coming out the back end versus the front. So this one I put where it had been. This one I put, it had been over here, and you could see where it actually dripped on that resistor down there, which was not cool. And there was this whole bunch of space over here not getting used, so I moved this one over here to mount it. You can hear I'm getting a lot of interference from this light here. But I've got it back together and it's all in pretty good shape now. I've swapped in these tubes here because I was playing, these are newer tongue soles. I was playing with these original RCAs and I got a volume drop that wasn't explainable any other way except to try to pull the tubes and see what happens. But pretty much this amp is original. It was missing the back panel. The guy made a back panel for it, which is painted, and I'm not super happy with it, but I could do something with it if I wanted to. And one of my friends will be really happy because I bought some trim washers for when I put it back on, because I don't think it looks very good without those. But anyway, I wanted to hear what the thing sounds like. So there's two channels. There is micro instrument, and then there's instrument. That's these two volumes. And this is the first channel. Tone, start with it halfway up. Kind of a woofy sounding amp. But we switched to the other channel. I also was getting a lot of initial humming because these shorting jacks aren't really doing their job very well. And I'm going to clean them out a little bit here, but here is this is the second channel. You can already hear this one's much brighter. And it is a good loud amp. Now you can do things like, here's the tone control all the way down, just as a point of comparison, and then all the way up. So it is a good and bright amp if you're on this channel. And it's interesting. effect of the sound between these two, even though I'm turning up the one that's not on. And it breaks up awful quick. It's only on about, what, 2 or 3 of 12 here. So it is a very loud and I think a great sounding amp. But you know, didn't take me a lot of time to do all this. Just had to wait for these. Had to find some capacitors to come in, and you know, I put them in place of these, and everything else on it was really in pretty good shape. I did I did replace the power cord because the one that was on here was actually only about half this thick, and it wasn't frayed, but it had one of those plugs on it that you get from the hardware store you used to, where you push the wires through and it's got screw terminals on the bottom and a piece of cardboard, and I just didn't feel like that was very solid, so I grabbed an extension cord that I had that had a nice molded plug and went with that. And then these caps are also, I don't know what year these are, I'll have to look them up. But also, I mean, they're not new, they're NOS. This one came in the box, and the guy happened to have 2 of them for me. He had one up on an auction, and I said, hey, I need 2, can you get me another one? And he did it, so, real happy with how that came out, and I'm going to put the back on it and call it a day. So short as it was compared to the last tape machine video, thank you for coming along on the ride.